All right, it is April 29, 2020. We are about to begin another run of the FSD Challenge. We now have version 10.2, 2020.12.6. So this has the new stoplight and stop sign detection. Once again, I will run it as much on autopilot and navigate on autopilot as I can. All right, it looks like we are all up and running. Got all the cameras going. Let's go ahead and set our first waypoint. Around we go. And we'll just, here we go. Let's do the run. So right out of the gate we see that it's really not able to detect this stop sign. It sees it, but it doesn't give me the stopping out of this lot. We'll see how it goes here as we get into the city. All right, once again, I'm going to try it differently this time as we get on to 495. First of all, I'll go into traffic control, traffic aware cruise control here. Oh, there we go. So it says stopping for this light. If I don't do anything, it will stop here for this green. I'm just going to acknowledge it and let it go through. As soon as we get on here, I'm going to get in to navigate on autopilot. Oh, come on. But here, notice it's going to go left. We want 395 north, so I'm going to go ahead and break out here. This is where routing should really take us. And once we do this, we'll see that there's no problem getting onto 495 north when you don't take the wrong way on. Not much different here with the traffic light and stop sign detection on the highway. I can still go as fast as I want. So I'm just going to set it to 5 over and leave that there, and that's what we'll run it as. I have lane change set to average. We also have a new navigation map update in here as well. I did a couple of quick tests before I came for this run, and it looks like it will do better in several of the locations where Gracie struggled before. So we'll get to that later in the run. still wish Tesla would improve the lane change, where if it detected a car approaching from the rear or on the side, that it would wait to start the lane change until that car had cleared. This is a very non-human way to make a lane change, to indicate your change right when someone's beside you or just about to overtake you. The Braddock Road Challenge here really shouldn't be much of a problem. It's doing quite well on these lately. The big question is if there's merging traffic in from the right. We'll see what it does here. No down traffic, so it's probably going to do pretty well here. Perfect. I am not in traffic aware cruise control at the moment, or auto lane control, so no traffic light here. I've also seen some indications that with this new mapping update that the merges onto the highway have gotten better. So let's see if that's true here in a few seconds. Back in we go, back into navigate on autopilot. Still accelerates a little slower than most people would, but this is pretty good. All right, we're up to speed here. Let's see how she does. Could be signaling already, a little late on the signal, but pretty good. How's she do here? Much better on that front. We need to do our second waypoint. You may remember that in previous runs, Gracie has not done very good in the merge onto 395 North here. She usually handles this this curving exit ramp / on ramp pretty well, but the merge she's struggled with. So let's see how we do here today with the new navigation. Once again, we got a little bit of interesting traffic here for the merge. Let's see what she does. I'll have to be paying attention here in case I have to take over. Right now it looks like she's got a place to merge in. Let's see how she does here. She's adjusting her speed. Nice, very nice. No signal though. She slid to the right a little bit again. She's got her turn signal on. But that was pretty good. That was a nice, smooth merge, even though she did creep to the right. All right, just going to try to move over here because the truck is a little slow. let's capture the dash cam there. Oh, she's going to go to the faster lane yet again. It's fine. Oh, she went up to 70. That's why. The car thinks that it's 65 here on 395. To the best of my knowledge, it is not. What do I have my follow distance at? I have my follow distance at 5, so not too tight. While we make the run up 395 here, I'd like to address a comment that I got on a previous version where I kept referring to FSD or full self-driving mode. The commenter was quite emphatic that he felt I should not use that term because the car is not yet FSD capable. And I think it's a bit of a semantical game, really, because everything I'm showing you in these runs is technically considered an FSD mode. But I agree with the commenter overall that the car is not, anywhere close to being able to drive without a human being in it yet. And you still have to pay very close attention to what you're doing. So at least in this run, I'm going to refer to things as navigate on autopilot or stoplight detection and control. But I will try to avoid using the term an FSD mode, just to help alleviate any confusion. I still wish that Tesla would program the cars to slide to the right when there are these multi-lane roads. Just in general, the cars do not do that. They tend to just stay where they are, and that in these city environments where traffic really moves typically much higher than the speed limit, that can really cause disruption. So changing to get out of the way of the cones, that's probably smart, even though I don't think it comes over another lane. But whenever she detects that just seems like the natural thing that she does. She pushes over a lane just in case they lose that lane or there's danger in the lane adjacent. But this will be interesting here how she handles this. She's coming up on the dump truck. She needs to get back to the right. Says construction identified, so there we go. She's like, okay, I got to be over there. Follow the route. She's still going to struggle with these lane splits. They still have not solved that problem. Let's just see how she does here. She'll probably start to the right and then jump to the left. Yep. Ugh. Really wish they would fix that. I have confirmed that the navigation update, the mapping update, fixes this issue through here, so she now gets in the right lane, in the correct lane, to move through here. So we see here changing lanes to follow route, which is what she should do. Now she's in the right place, and this is a big change, so it's small in the grand scheme of the overall advancement to full self-driving, but this is really pleasant to see. But at least this time we can go right up until navigate on autopilot drops out but drops back to autopilot, at which point I'll have to brake out to make the exits. right, back to autopilot. A little bit freaked out there by all the signs. I'm going to brake out so I can make this transition here. Not many cars today. Let's see if I can get back in here. Oh, now I'm going to just wait with all these people here. I'm not going to risk it to see what it would do. My guess is it would have detected that crossing, but I wasn't going to risk it today, not knowing what it was going to do. Again, I can, interestingly enough, get back in to navigate on autopilot here. Very surprising that that works through here. Ugh, wish it could detect potholes. Can't do that yet. But interestingly, it's going to stay in this lane. It really should be to the right. And I don't know what this car is going to do for me, so I'm going to brake out here. I'm going to brake out here. Sorry. Okay, looks good. Unfortunately, I couldn't show you that again, but Gracie acts as if there's no merge there, and she just kind of comes down in. All right, so out of passing lane, that's kind of good. That's what we would like it to do. I wish we would do that on the big interstates more. So this is a good example of one of the challenges of the current stoplight and stop sign detection being enabled. They've restricted the car to operate literally at whatever speed limit it thinks that road is. I cannot change that speed limit at all. Notice it says it's restricted on auto steer to 35 miles an hour. I need to get over a lane here. I don't have to, but now we're in the land where it will just see and respond to traffic lights and traffic controls. So notice that we now see the red line and that it says stopping for traffic control in 50 feet. Obviously, we have a car in front of us, so it would have stopped anyway in this instance. Up at the next traffic light, however, I will have to brake out to make the left turn. The car will not make turns yet or get in the correct lane for city driving. I believe Tesla has just called this. I think they're calling it now full self-driving or city driving on auto steer. So I have to acknowledge to go through. So I just touch the gas pedal, in this case, the accelerator. But again, I will have to brake out right here to get this. So notice again, it says stopping in 600 feet. The light is currently green. It will not go through that light unless I acknowledge it at the moment. So I'm going to go ahead and stop. No worries, go through here. So just wait for the light at this point. This new stoplight and stop sign detection algorithm is, I think at this point, calling it beta is like really, it's really hardly even beta. What we're really doing is we're training the neural net so that when they release the new versions for broader use, that it will eventually be able to make that decision on its own, and you would just override the decision whether to continue through in the case where it gets it wrong. But right now it's literally using every one of these accelerator pushes or stock pulls as a confirmation. Internally inside the computer, you can be guaranteed that the computer is making a prediction whether they can go through this intersection or not, or through this traffic control or not. And then they use our manual override or confirmation to as a validator to what their decision was. So I'm just going to go ahead and get in this middle lane here. How's that? I'm going to acknowledge. Oh, this will be interesting. I acknowledge with the stock pull. Let's see what it's going to do here. Yep. So even though it was green when I said yes, and then it turned yellow, it caught that. Again, I'm not doing anything here. The car is just stopping. It's doing that nice and smoothly in this case. No real problems there. Now, before I can go again, like the light will turn green here, I have to give it an acknowledgement to go. Notice on the center binnacle display we have much brighter traffic signals. The lights are much brighter now. They now show turn arrows if it can detect that. And it has the red threshold line as to where it plans to stop. All right, so I'm just going to acknowledge. Then it's going to take off on itself. Again, I'm not pressing the accelerator. That's the car doing its own thing here. So we've pretty rapidly gone from showing us traffic lights and stop signs to now being able to act on that a couple of months later. You may recall that my previous run was done on Christmas Day, and that was just after the release of the visualizations in the center displays to show you the traffic light signals. But again, I'm just going to sit here first. Oh, interesting. What's it going to do here? So it's coming up to the signal. Until I acknowledge, it will not go through it. So I just acknowledged it. So now it should continue through. Once again, I will acknowledge. We'll see what this does. It's probably going to tell me to take over because it does not know how to do the turns. Yep. So again, it should come to a stop. I'll acknowledge. Go back into autopilot. I may have to just break out here because the bridge is designated 25. Oh, that was not good. Lost the lane there. Right, I'll acknowledge to go forward. But of course it can't turn yet, so I'm just going to go ahead and break out here. Oh, okay then. That cut that a little bit. So there is a nuance here as to whether it will allow you to go 5 over. If it does not believe that you're on an actual city street, if it's a road that's somehow designated slightly different, I'm going to acknowledge so I can go through this. It was going to stop there. If it treats it more like a byway or like a state road or something like that, it will let you go 5 over, and then of course on the interstates you are still free to go as fast as you want. Let's see if we'll go. No, it's lit. It is treating this as 40 and forwardly only, so of course the people behind me are like not happy. This again is, I think, will be one of the challenges in actually rolling out FSD as a real capability. Is just the difference between what Tesla will have to configure the car to drive pretty conservatively or very conservatively compared to others. And so you'll have this mixture of real human beings being much more aggressive and not following the rules, and Teslas on full self-driving being extremely conservative, and there will be a lot of non-happy people. So again, I'm going to acknowledge to let it go through, see how it handles this. Oh, saw that stop sign, thought it was a stop sign there, so that was a good one to catch. That should teach the system a little bit. I don't see the average person using this mode much yet. It is, because it's just full engagement. You really got to be paying attention. You're engaging with the car actually a lot more than you would otherwise. All right, let's see what happens. Maybe, we're not going to hit it green. So again, it's going to come to a stop. That's good. But here we've got the jink up here. I am first in line. Once again, I don't think I'll be able to push it very far because the folks right in front of me will freak out very quickly. But we'll see how it will go. I'll let it run a little bit and see how it does. I'm really interested to see how long it's going to take Tesla to figure this little intersection out. There's just no signs at all that there's a change. And again, I'm just going to let it go a little bit. Going to let it go a little bit. No, it just has no idea. This has always proved a little interesting too. Not great lane markings, a little ridge to go over. I'm going to acknowledge the traffic light so it can go through. It's always a little scary. Oh, I broke out there. Just not quite sure what it's going to do there. I think that's the first time I've actually had to break out. Oh, we've got a little tractor up here. Let's see what she does. Good. She's going to come to a stop. She gets that. I'll go around her. This Jeep behind me is like, what are you doing? Okay. Oh, it's actually in Navigate on Autopilot at this point. Well, we'll see what it does. Back to the... All right, this just never works, so I'm going to be ready to take over any second here. Did pretty well up to there. We just got to go left here, though. Let's see. Let me go back in, drop right back out again. Let's get over here so they can jump by. Just won't make the... Another lane split here. It'll probably do the jink again. Where do I go? Stayed right this time. It seems like it waited a little longer before it moved over to the left lane. That's kind of nice. Maybe they're changing that algorithm a little bit. All right, unless something weird happens, there's no real traffic today. There's no blockages today, so I expect a clean run around the top of the beltway here. Just leave it set at 60 and we will just cruise around, hopefully. No interventions at all, hopefully. Once again, it put its turn signal on just as that big semi was coming up on us. I'm sure he was like, what are you going to do? Are you really going to pull in front of me? Gracie did just fine, but it just, in terms of the communication with other drivers, still leaves a bit to be desired in terms of doing it just right. Let's move to the right to get out of the passing lane. Slid right again. It really doesn't do a great job of determining when that's just like a temporary wide lane. Oh, what are we gonna do here? What do we do? Oh, geez. I had to take over there. It was looking like it was gonna hit those cones. There was no one beside me, but I don't know if it knew that truck was over one lane. Ah, that VW began to encroach in the lane and it slowed down. That's good. Just another good example where the car really should slide at least one lane over here, um, not be into the second to the fastest lane. So I'm going to go ahead and manually go back at least over one lane. Oh, not very graceful on that exit. It obviously did it, but that was nice. So have that weird speed change there again, dropping back to 25 miles an hour when everyone else is doing 60 or faster. Cancel that lane change. Well, let's see how we do through this little odd section again where speed limits drop even further, but people don't, and there are speed traps. So this whole segment again is not particularly hard for the car to drive, but it's just the the discrepancy between, it's just the discrepancy between what people do on this road. Just hold this, you know, what people do on this road versus what is allowed to be done on this road. It's just a very, it's got its own whole culture to this road. So again, we're continuing at 55 here. I'm just going to slide out of this lane here. Slow down with everyone else here, just because you never know what's on this road. And then all of a sudden you're doing 35. See if she can get over this time, how she does it. Remember, last time I had to manually intervene. Looks like she's going to be able to do it this time. Good. Plenty of time to spare. Probably a mile. It says 0.6 miles to go. Go ahead. And this lane does exit, so I think Gracie will just stay here. Yep, there's the turn signal. Detects this. Once again, got through there very smoothly. Surprised at how little trouble it's had with that interchange. I thought it would have more challenges there. Faster lane. A little awkward there, but did okay. This lane, obviously, Gracie will probably move to the right, away from cones. Yep, that's fine. She can't do it because the car is right here, so she's just going to keep plugging away. That's actually a bit of an improvement. In previously, the car would just slow way down until she could get over. So I actually did a pretty nice job there. Just tucked right in behind someone slower. She could have obviously gotten into the lane there, but she waited for this car. It's just not very human-like in that regard. It was successful and safe, but probably left the other driver a little confused. All right, so we'll probably see the navigate on autopilot ending here. Sure enough, there's the 600 feet. So we'll wait till it ends. It'll drop back to autopilot, at which point I should be able to initiate this lane change manually, and in and out of navigate on autopilot, and it'll drop back into navigate on autopilot here in a second. But once again, you'll see that it takes me the wrong way. Again, it's going to try to take me up the parkway. That would work. Again, it's not like it's a non-viable route. It is a viable route, and it's actually a route you might use if traffic were particularly bad on a given day. But it's not the route you would use as a standard process. And again, all the signage through here says that this is the route that they encourage you to take to get to 66 westbound. In fact, the sign that's coming up here is exactly that. To West 66, Roslyn and Key Bridge, which is what we would want to do. And again, the routing software here is going to try to take us up onto Lynn Street, or Lee Highway, then down Lynn Street, and then back onto the Parkway. But notice it does say at the 0.3 mark to get onto I-66 westbound. So it's really confusing to me why it won't actually take me out that route. It just makes no sense at all. It is the fast way, it is the interstate, it is the fewest traffic lights. So here we go back to autopilot from navigate on autopilot. So now it won't make any changes. But the next one up is the Front Royal I-66 westbound thing. Since I'm on autopilot here, it won't make this little exit, so I'll have to brake out. So we're going to take the westbound thing. The car is going to try to go right. It'll actually try to go left. Oh, well, how about that? It didn't know what to do, but it went straight. So I'm going to go back in. So now navigate on autopilot. See where we go here. So the next route it wants me to do is go up onto Lee Highway, which is what I do not want to do. I'm going to manually get into this lane and see if it'll hold. And so I was able to force it to not take the exit, so it canceled. It's trying to change lanes, still can't, so I'm going to cancel that again. Now it's trying to go down to 45 miles an hour, and then it's all whacked up. So I can go back in here, back up to 60. Now I'm on 66, and it's, yeah, go that way. So just, again, very confusing. It's better. It's definitely an improvement over what it was before, but it's still not correct, and it still gets very confused. And now that we're in this lane here again, it's just not going to ever get over, so it doesn't ever get out of the fast lane. So I'll just manually execute that. All right, so let's see how she does today. So we really should be over a lane already. That's effectively the exit has already happened here. But we do still have the small dashed line, so we're still okay. does think it wants to make the turn in 0.7 miles. Upcoming lane change. It's just, should have done it already, but so here we are. So we are executing it, and it completes just as the line turns solid. So it's really a last second exit, but at least makes it this time. So it's an improvement. Next challenge is the main toll booth for Dulles Toll Road. It's up here in about 2 miles. We'll see how she does. Last couple of times she's actually gotten through the toll booth unaided. No idea how it'll change here. My guess is that she will see traffic control warnings and will come to a stop unless I acknowledge and let it continue through. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, we're in a easy pass only lane. That's good. We're cruising along here. So far, no indications that it sees any traffic control. What's it going to do? Not going to slow down, but it is going to continue through. There it goes. So it saw it at last second. Still does a nice job. Not a nice job. How are we doing through here? Where's it going to go? Well, there you go. Again, really surprised how well it does through there. Of course, I would like it to slow down a little bit, but after that toll booth, there are no lane markings for a couple of 100 yards, and it just kind of does the best job it can. You could see in this case, it slid over a lane. I think it might have actually been the right lane. Anyway, it felt like it jinked right a little bit, but no cars around us, and it just continued to do its thing and got to the next set of lanes. All right, coming up to the Hunter Mill exit. 0.7 miles or so, Gracie started giving us the indication she needs to be over a lane. We got the truck right beside us. Yeah, at least this time, yeah. No idea if she waited for the truck to get past. I don't think so. All right, in this case, I'm going to slow us. I'm going to again try to let us just go through here, but I may manually slow us down. I have no idea how the new mapping software and traffic control software will handle this exit. So navigate on autopilot's going to end here. So now we're just back in autopilot mode. I'm going to hold as long as I can here. See what, okay, so it sees the signal. I'm going to let it just slow the car down a little more. A little more, a little more, a little more, a little more. Oh, it didn't actually come to a stop. There you go. Huh. How about that? First successful navigation of that toll booth. So we're going to have a few firsts on this run. Once again, the car is stopped for this light, so it will not pass that red line on the center binnacle display until I acknowledge that it can continue. And obviously it can't make the left-hand turn here. So I will have to brake out, otherwise I think it would just probably try to continue straight up the next on-ramp, even though I'm in a left-hand turn only lane. Just see what it does here. So again, stopped, I'm going to let it go. Just going to see what it does, and then I'm going to brake out. So I'll brake out there. Okay, back into autopilot. Back on surface streets, so I will not be able to go above 35. Coming to a stop. Again, until I acknowledge, the car will not pass through this light. I don't have anyone behind me, so I'm going to just let it do that a little bit. So I'm going to come to a stop. Yep. So I'm going to just say go. So tap the stalk, and of course it can't make the left turn yet, so I'll brake out. Go back into autopilot here. Very nice through here. Boy, it just does beautifully on some of this stuff. Okay, well, watch for turning vehicles. That's not us. But here we go. So you see the flashing lights, bicycle crossing, walk ahead. Oh, it wanted to stop right there. But what does it do here? So we got people in the lane. Did it see them? It sees the, oh. All right, definitely had to brake out there. Sort of an improvement, sort of not. Sees the traffic sign, got a car in front of us anyway. Again, it will not go until I acknowledge. So I'll just show you that. So I'm going to acknowledge now since there are people behind us. Next up is the traffic circle, or the roundabout. To the best of my knowledge, there's been no improvements to deal with that. Again, the car sees the traffic control here, so we're going to come to a complete stop. I'm not touching anything. I'm not touching the brakes. She'll come to a stop right at the line, hopefully. There we go. As soon as it goes green, I will hit the acknowledgement. The next one is red, so again, it will come to a stop up here. It sees it, tells us it sees it. This looks like there's a left turn signal. There is. All right, there's the green. Acknowledge, and it will go. All right, here comes the roundabout. I'm going to go ahead and drop into autopilot for this. I'm going to slow down a little bit. Let's see what we do. Let's see if it even has any changes in how it acts towards this. It does not know about it, does not know about it. So brake out there. I'm just going to drive around it. So it's still a complete unknown to the car. And once again, I'll be in autopilot. Get in the left lane here for the, should see the traffic signal. It does. I'm going to acknowledge since it's green. Let it keep going. And we need to be over a lane. Will it let me do it? It will not, so I'll brake out, get into my left turn lane, and then get back in. And again, the car is coming to a stop itself. Nothing I needed to do there other than execute the lane change. Alright, get the right lane here, get back into autopilot, sees the traffic light, going to come to a stop. It shows it as yellow. Oh, that's interesting. Hadn't noticed that before. The signal, the little warning thing in the bottom, if you hadn't noticed that, does show it go from green to yellow to red as to what status it thinks that signal is in. All right, acknowledge, it will go again. All right, it's good. We're going to keep going, but I'm going to brake out because we need to make this right turn, and the car can't do that yet. As soon as I can go back in here, well, there we go. So speed limit 30, so this is good, it's fine. And I'm going to make the right turn here, so I'll brake out. No big dramas there. All right, reset my supercharger. There we go. That's the route I want to take. So I'm just going to go in here. 25 is the speed limit. That's all it'll let me go, obviously, which is fine on these roads. We have our stop sign up here. It detects it, and it will come to a stop. So far, so good. See what the white line, the red line, there we are. I'll just acknowledge, and it will go again. Still doesn't do a great job on these wider lanes. Got the cars here. It slid back to the left, so that's good. Nice job. Very comfortable coming across a pretty narrow set of lanes there, actually. Very nice. And then we've got this crazy intersection again here. I have to brake out because I need to be on the left here, but the car is stopping still. That's good. And so I will acknowledge just to show that at one of the downsides at this point, as soon as you acknowledge it will go no matter what. So now we got to creep out here on this. Got people across. I'll just go slow here. Okay, I think I can go. There we go. All right. Back into autopilot. Again, it will only let me go the speed limit. It sees, it knows about the next stop sign. Doesn't give me an indicator what it is. Now it sees it as red, coming to a stop. Acknowledge. Okay, we know about the signal. Now sees it as red. So there is 2 layers here. Hopefully it will not trigger again for the second one. Okay, we got green. We're going to go ahead and go. Yep, that's good. There we go, nice and smooth. That's actually an improvement over previous runs where it kind of came to a grinding halt there. So I'm going to acknowledge, got a green light. And here we have to turn left, so I'll brake out quick, get in this lane, and then try to re-engage. Sees the signal, sees the left turn as red, where it sees the two right green. Very nice. So it detected my left turn one as being red, and the right ones, the main lanes, being green. Very nice. You can see that on the displays. Even though I'm fairly occluded with this big SUV in front of me, the car still is able to detect the red light on the turn signal, or on the left-hand turn light. Okay, now we got green. Go. Use accelerator or stalk to continue. So yep, there we go. And of course I will have to turn here. All right, and go back in. Good, I can go. Slide into the right lane here. All right, we just turned yellow. Stopping for traffic control, red. Tucks in nicely. Almost exactly how I would have did it there. Okay, so it knows it's green. Yep, I'm going to acknowledge. Knows about the signal. Doesn't know the status yet. Doesn't know status. There, it's got the status as red. Okay, I mean, I don't know if you noticed right there. So notice now it can't tell the status because we're occluded by these SUVs and that big van up there. And so let's see how it does here. When does it know it's green? Not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet. There it does, and it started moving. Oh, that was nice. Because we weren't at the limit line there, so it probably would have continued up to the limit line. Got green up here, I'm gonna let it go. do that? It will not let me take that, so I'm going to break out and then right back in again. And I'm in Navigate on Autopilot. So let's see how we run down to the supercharger to end the run. As we approach this exit now, just I'll point out some of the signs as we pass them, and we'll see how this goes. So as soon as we make this little, we're sort of on the exit now, and there are a bunch of exits that happen here. So the first exit that's coming up is 644 westbound, Old Keene Mill Road in Springfield. But the second one is 644 westbound. And that's the one we actually want. Or, I'm sorry, eastbound. Ah, no! That's so weird. The last time it did it the correct way, it waited for this exit. So I canceled that, and I'm going to take this exit here, and hopefully it'll catch that one. It's interesting that it dropped us back to autopilot already. Did not do that on a previous drive, interestingly enough. But this exit brings us to keeps us on the left side, keeps us on the left side of these lanes, which are the lanes that go eastbound over to the mall. But again, it stays here right till the end, and it does a last second merge when the lane ends. And then we got this truck behind us. What is he going to do? He's going to be like, oh, I'm not waiting for you. Just a little slower than what I would do as a driver. The truck behind me is a little slower than this, and I'm going to acknowledge because I have to say yep, keep going, because it went from Navigate on Autopilot down to Autopilot down to a surface street. So it really wanted you to make sure that you were there and paying attention. Wrap up once again at the supercharger at 100.1 miles. Quite a few people here today. All right. Come on back in here. And with that, we end another supercharger run. So this is the end of the run on April 29th, 2020, just a few hours before Tesla releases their quarterly earnings report, which should be very interesting. All right, thanks for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you for the next run.